And just note that this presentation and this Q&A session will be shared with you all and then anybody else who couldn't make it today, just so that you can reflect back on it and you have, again, some resources. All right. So at this time, if anybody has any questions, please use the hand raise function in Google Meet, and we will call on you when we can. Kendra, first one, go ahead. If you're talking, I cannot hear you. Yeah, I see you, but you're on. Okay, nope, never mind. All right, any questions? Jamie?
Okay, forgive me because I wasn't here last year, so I'm just learning the whole process. The master list that we received has NA on them. If they do not have a classroom list, do they need to have a library even though they're only using the Scholastic?
So you have the option, and you can talk about this. Last year, when people submitted that they did not have classroom libraries, we put NA. This year, we know that you guys have classroom libraries because the district has provided. You can go ahead and put in that box, district provided library only, instead of NA. That way the parents know that they could look at the district provided classroom library link and see all the books there that way.
Thank you.
So if they are just using the Scholastic library books that the district has provided them, they do not need to make a Google bookshelf. You do not need to make them submit a link. You would just put on the school sheet, district provided classroom library, and that is it. But they would still have to make the additional materials sheet link because they would have to list out everything else.
So it's okay if when they go to submit, they're not submitting anything. It will still say that they on the portal.
I do believe we were adjusting that function, and Ron can speak to that, to where they could just submit one or the other or both if needed.
Okay, so that hasn't happened yet. So they were all panicking because it wouldn't submit. Okay.
So then if they don't have two URLs to submit, they can just email you the link to the additional material sheet, and you can just copy and paste it from there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Shamari?
Okay, two questions. So with the district provided library, was that only for homeroom teachers, or was that to like my ESOL teachers? Because like my ESOL teachers don't have classroom libraries, but they have additional spreadsheets. So I still can have the NA.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the second question in regards to teachers that don't have the option for the gray, the box to submit their links, it's gray. I don't do anything with them as of right now. I wait for the adjustments.
No, so the grayed out means that they submitted last year. Okay. So they would, if they have updated information, they need to email you that, and you need to add it to the sheet manually.
Okay, I did that part, but then we're fine. Okay.
Anything that's grayed out and they can't submit means that they already have another submission in the form from last school year or this school year. So anything additional that they need to put on that sheet, they need to email it to you.
And I put it on my sheet, and my sheet kind of supersedes
on your sheet. Correct.
Okay. And then just one other thing. I have dual language school, so I've got English and Spanish books, and I had a teacher that wanted to use a Spanish book in her classroom. So it's in Spanish, so I don't have book reviews and things like that, and it's not in Destiny. So I was just curious, how do I handle having that help someone help me vet that, because I'm not a Spanish speaker, and it was there's no
just maybe have a conversation with her. What is this about?
Okay.
I mean, and based off of that judgment, you'll probably be able to decide whether or not you need to like seek further or it's good to go.
Well, because I know we have our database and stuff, so I was like, I don't know how I can like put it on the database if it's okay, but
yeah, I mean, if it has a title and you want to add it, you just write the title.
Okay.
All right, Kendra, can you talk yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So question is, so we're in Montessori school, and there's a lot of Montessori people who've been here forever, and they do Montessori. How do they inventory that? Can they just say Montessori this, Montessori that? Like, how deep is that gotta go? How?
I don't understand. What are you trying to inventory?
So they have Montessori items. They have Montessori manipulatives. They have Montessori. Montessori has its own little things, manipulatives and things like that. So how will they inventory that? They're putting it in front of the kids to do, right? Some of it is even like the hand when they when they have a letter, and then every item that's in the box is a Montessori like little figure, and they write the word of that thing on there too.
Is it a worksheet?
Some of them are worksheets, and some of them are like some of them are worksheets, absolutely, yep. And some of them are manipulatives.
Okay, so they were just manipulatives. If it's not, you don't need to put those into your inventory, manipulatives. I mean, but worksheets need to go into the sheet. So give me 1 second and let me get to a template for you so that I can show you. Okay, so this is what the template looks like for your additional materials sheet. Down below, you have 2 tabs, classroom materials and media type drop downs. If I click on media type drop downs, I have all of these different options for me. Academic, journal, audiobook, book, brochure, catalog. If there's something that the teacher is using that's not already on this list, they can simply just go into the sheet and add it. So for instance, if I'm going to add worksheet, I'm going to add a material type for worksheet. If I'm going to add board game, I can add board game. If I'm using a teacher pay teachers material, I can type in teacher pay teachers.
Okay.
So now when I go back to my classroom materials and I go through my media type, now I can pick a worksheet, a board game, a teacher pay teachers. So you can add any material type to your additional materials sheet.
What would they call it? Do they just make it up? There's no ISBN. Do they say title, alphabet, correspondence, Montessori?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, this sheet is just to show parents what they're using with their students. So as long as it's clear for them, it's fine what they're going to call it. All right. Ashley?
Hi. I just had Aftercare approach me and ask me about adding rated G movies. Does that need to be added to an Aftercare additional materials list?
They, I do believe that they buy the rights every year for the G-rated movies, but yes, if they're showing a movie, it should be listed out for the parents to see.
And I don't need to approve it or anything if it's rated G.
G
Disney
is fine,
movie.
right?
Okay.
It should still be, the content should be matching that of current legislation.
Okay.
But they buy a license every year for certain movies, so it should correlate.
Okay. And could you send me a blank inventory template that I can forward to them?
It's inside the training manual.
Okay.
Do you know how to get to the training manual?
I'm sure it's in a PowerPoint you sent.
I'm going to put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
And then it's literally listed as curate an additional materials template. And
Okay.
you can just click on it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Gregoria?
Yes, thank you. I had a teacher who uploaded all her books to her library, and then 12 of those, when she submitted, it said 12 of those books were not reviewed. My suggestion to her was to, because they don't have a review, they shouldn't be on her thing. Is that okay? Because 12 books.
I mean, you're the media specialist, so all she would have to do is give you those 12 books, and you can review it and give them back to her and tell her whether or not they're good or bad. The review doesn't have to come from me. It doesn't have to come from our database. You should be getting alerts as the media specialist saying, hey, these books are in this person's classroom. They haven't been reviewed. So it's your job to look at them and make sure they are okay. They don't have to be removed if they're fine. But you
When you
would make
say review, that I have to read each of those books to find out what the books is about. I don't have that to read those books.
You don't have to read the books. You have to look up academic reviews, how you would review all the other books.
Okay.
If you go on the library currents, there's the academic review sort of PDF that helps you. You look in Mackin, you look in Tidal Wave, you look up the grade level appropriateness of the book. Michelle Martello in the chat box wrote, how do you document that they are reviewed? Ron, do you want to tell them what is coming?
Sure. We are working on a bunch of changes in the app, features that we're adding in to help you guys out. One of those features is for the media specialists and library media services to be able to mark reviewed books off in bulk or individually. So basically what will happen is a media specialist will go in and to the app, and on the home screen underneath the two buttons, they would see a list of books that have been listed in their school that have not been reviewed. And each book will have a couple buttons next to it to determine the next action if it's been reviewed and it's okay. If it's been determined that it's 4+, or you need to submit that to library media services for further review. You'll also be able to do that in bulk. So you'll be able to say, you know what, I know these 10 books here we have. I can just check off all 10 and I can just approve all, review all, mark them as reviewed. That feature is coming out really soon. We talked about that in our staff meeting today, our development meeting today. However, the first function that we are going to be putting out for you guys is the ability for teachers to edit, delete, and add bookshelves into their libraries, right? So if you have a teacher that has, let's say they're a 4th and 5th grade teacher, and they've created 2 bookshelves in Google, one for 4th and one for 5th. And we've seen this from last year. We've seen a bunch of this type of thing. Right now, they can only submit one of those, right? So what we've done is coming really soon, hopefully, is the ability for them to see all of their bookshelves that they've listed, and then be able to edit, remove them if they don't teach 3rd grade anymore. So they're going to want to remove that one, that type of thing. So, and then we're also giving you the teachers the ability not to have, there's a checkbox underneath additional material saying you don't have one, but we don't have one yet for the bookshelf itself or the library itself. So we're adding that ability to say, I don't have one. And Stephanie, I want to talk to you afterwards maybe about also having a checkbox saying I use the district supplied library, right? Because then we can take the URL for the district supplied library and just populate that in there, right?
Perfect. Yeah, because it'll be the same for everybody.
Yeah. So those are the features currently that we're working on for you guys and for your teachers. I'm really hoping that we should be able to get the edit capabilities done by the end of this week or mid next week, and so that people can go in there and make their changes.
Perfect. Michelle is asking if you guys already update the sheet. Once the app is ready, are the teachers required to resubmit? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say no. Maybe not for this school year at least. But if there's any changes once you manually make the change and it's available to be made within the app, get them used to using the tile/app in the portal.
All right, I just want to point something out about if a teacher does not They submit through the sheet, but they don't submit through the app. The app will automatically check books that are every we haven't decided what the interval is yet, but most likely every week or so we will go in and we will check all the libraries for changes. So if a library gets, say an elementary school teacher says, I have green eggs and ham in my library now, so I want that to show up. If it's in the sheet, we'll never know that. But if it's in the app, then we will be able to check books as they're brought into the library.
Raquel?
Hi there, either Ronald or Stephanie. I have not received any email yet that, a teacher has submitted something and it's not in Destiny. Do you have, I'm just assuming that nothing has been turned in that's not in Destiny. Do you have an email to show us what it would look like?
Yeah, I can pull one up for you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
What school are you at?
Banyan Creek Elementary,
Do you know the number by any chance?
1891.
I'm sorry?
1891. You mean the school number or the phone
Yeah.
number?
The school number. Yeah, 1891. I should have known that. Okay, I'm gonna just chat over to my devs right now and just have them take a look and see what's been submitted.
Okay.
And I am pulling up for you an example of okay, so let's share this. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay, so this says a new classroom library has been submitted. Scroll down, warning, 2 items that have not been reviewed. So there's going to be 2 different titles, and these 2 books a teacher scanned, but nobody has reviewed it yet. So what you would do is you would look at the titles, look at the book, and then give it back to the teacher and either say, yes, this is fine, or unfortunately not. But you're not going to have many instances where you don't give the book right back or look and email the teacher and say this is fine.
So you said it comes from Classroom Library app. I'm just going to do a search because you know how the beginning of the year is. I just want to make sure that I didn't push that email if I got one somewhere else.
Yep. It's going to be, and when I say app, again, I'm talking about this tile, Classroom Library Inventory tile. I say tile app, it's interchangeable, but that's where you would get the email from.
Okay, thank you.
Gregoria?
Yes, I just want to make sure that I feel like I'm missing something. When I go into that app, all I see is just my library. I don't see anybody else's library. Are they linked to mine that I'm going to press that their review? Like when I get those emails, what do I have to click? Where do I have to show that I reviewed those books?
That's coming. Yeah, that's one of the things we have to one of the features that's coming soon. We were very under the gun trying to get the submission form out before school started, and we did not. So we decided that there were certain features we couldn't put in right now, and then we're working on them as we go. Right, so that is one of them. So that screen where you see the 2 buttons, manage your library and do a submission. You'll see on that screen, as a media specialist, you'll see all the books for your school that have not been reviewed when we enable that feature, right? When we're done with that feature. I do want to mention one important thing. If Banyan Creek has on their list green eggs and ham, and it can tell I'm a Dr. Seuss fan. Okay, so and so does Highland Elementary. If Highland Elementary marks that book as reviewed, it's reviewed district-wide, right? So it comes off the list whether the Banyan has reviewed it or not. If another school has already reviewed it, it will disappear off the list. All right. So that you'll go in there one day, see a whole bunch of books. You go in there the next day, and there's only a couple books. That's what's happening. But we're hopefully going to have that feature done in probably end of next week, probably. That's what I'm shooting for.
Perfect. Okay. So let's just keep in mind that that is specifically for media specialists. We'll have another training with Ron and his team just for the media specialists for the book review. But not everybody who got selected as the classroom managers are the media specialists. So just keep in mind that right now the school manager is getting an email so that you can copy and paste the links to your school sheet, but also the media specialists are getting the email so that just in case there's books from their inventory that need to be reviewed as well. All right, so the manager and the school media specialist are getting, and then I'm getting them, and Ron is getting them. Go ahead, Victoria.
Just in case it helps anybody that hasn't started, what I did was I kind of copied the titles that are on that sheet, and I made a Google form, and I had the teachers fill in that Google form with those links just to make sure that they kind of match, and whatever links weren't working last year that I have active links. So I kind of sent it school wide, and everybody responded with their actual links to update that sheet in case that helps anybody.
Right. And then also remember that your biggest thing also, and I got to go through the sheets again, is that when they're making that additional material sheet, make sure it is not locked. Right? You should be able to click on their link and it take you right to their sheet. Some schools, it says access denied and it says you don't have permissions. That means they have to go into the access level of the sheet and they have to change the access to anybody with the link can view. So if it says it's locked, they have to go to share. Anybody with the link can view. Betty?
Okay. I had a question about the when they send the form, the class library says like there's 2 books that haven't been reviewed. Okay. Does that automatically mean that like it's set? Like, because I know there was like highlighted things on the school's page, like on the Excel form. Does that mean it's already submitted? It's just I just need to review those 2 books and it's good? I don't know what that means. Like when I get that message.
When you get the email from the app?
Yeah. Like the one you just sent, like that somebody just submitted. It was a new teacher just submitted it. And it said there was 2 books. It has not been approved. It has not been submitted because it's awaiting 2 books that haven't been reviewed. So does that mean the link is, they have to resubmit it again, or how does that work? I don't get it.
Right. Ron, can you answer that?
Maybe.
On the email that sometimes it says has not been sent to classroom manager.
Okay, so
Or
so
it does
the,
get sent.
yes, the currently the way the process is set up in the app, and we can change this if necessary, is that a teacher submits their library. The library, they get an email saying thank you for your submission, and then I gotta stop. Sorry. They get an email for the submission, and we do a check against our internal sources for if it's been reviewed or not. And then if there's no books that if there aren't any books that have not been reviewed, sorry for the double negative, then it goes to both the school manager and the media specialist, saying that it's been submitted. If there are any books that need to be reviewed, it goes to the media specialist. And when those books get reviewed, it'll go to the school manager. So the school manager doesn't receive the email until the library has been completely reviewed for that teacher.
But if there's no way for them to check off that they've reviewed it, do they then have to move it to the school manager for now?
We don't have a feature for them to do that,
Okay.
but I just need to light a fire under my developers to get that feature in there to review, because I don't want to put in band-aids right now if we can, get it to work pretty quickly.
Okay.
So
So Betty, luckily you're both, right? So that works out for you. So
but I'm not getting any of these emails. Like I only got one email that just said like this needs to be reviewed before it can be submitted. So we had him remove it because I didn't know what to do. So I just said take it off your Google book. But no email came again. So I don't know, is his library good or not? Like I haven't gotten any emails with the new teachers that haven't had those to tell me like, okay, their library has been submitted. So I left it highlighted because I don't know if it went through or not.
Okay.
So, okay, for example, I have total of 5 teachers,
Yep.
5 new teachers that created classroom libraries, and they submitted it. And they gave me the links, and I put the links on the sheet. But I didn't get anything from the class library app saying like, oh, it's been approved or it's good.
Right, because we haven't built the approval process in yet, and that's like again one of the features that we need to get out quickly. Once that approval process is built into the app, the review process, all of that goes away, and everything would just have a normal workflow where it goes from one person to the next, and then it gets notified.
So do I leave it highlighted yellow because I'm not sure that they've been?
No. So as long as you have for instance, the reason why some of you got sheets that are different colors, that was because when we made the sheets last year, we didn't have the right information from the teachers. So the ones that are yellow didn't submit something.
Mm-hmm.
It was blank. It didn't work.
Right.
Red meant their sheet was locked. You don't have to keep any of those colors. So
Okay.
if your teacher submits a new link and it's their old one is a yellow box, you would put their new link into that place and just reset the box to white.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's good. There's no place for me to just verify that the district knows this link.
Correct.
It's on the sheet. The district knows.
Correct.
Okay. The last question I had was a teacher is thinking of buying an intervention system that's on MTSS tile from the district. They wanted to know, do they have to list everything they use, or can they just say, like, for example, they're using what was the one she was gonna buy? Heggerty phonemic awareness kit. So can she just put Heggerty on additional materials, or does she have to put every time she uses it, every single part? Holy crap.
So unfortunately, what needs to be done is, because in the law it states it has to be written out by title and author. Okay. So if it's something that the kids are using as a whole, then you would put the Haggerty phonemic or kit or whatever it is. If they're pulling something out and using it for instruction, it has to be listed out on the sheet.
So, okay, it's only going to be used for like her like her intensive group of kids.
Mm-hmm.
She still has to list it individually what she's using in additional materials.
Correct, but she needs to talk to her intervention, like from the district, because what the district can do, if it's something that the district uses a lot.
Because it's because she pulled up the MTSS tile. It's like it's with like the Spire Wilson system. It was one of the bunch of interventions that the district said is approved for progress monitoring.
Right. So what I would do is I would have her reach out to the intervention team, because look here, we have Rise Up and all of their titles. We have all the titles for LLI. So people can just copy and paste these links of all the titles and authors into their sheet. This one's reading recovery.
Is Haggerty there?
So Haggerty is not there. So that's what I'm saying. Have them reach out to the department in which they're telling them to use it, because maybe they can create a link that has all of the titles already there for her to just copy and paste the link.
Okay. But in the meantime, she needs to just put it individually.
Correct.
Okay. And the last thing she asked was she wants to buy it using her class wallet money. If they use it with class wallet, they don't have to send it through the media specialist through the submission form, right?
Correct.
Only if the district, if we're using the school money or that.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes. Are there any other questions? Raquel, go ahead.
Just kind of piggybacking a little bit on that. Are the media specialists still encouraged to, once we vet something, to submit it so it can be added to the review list? Because I've been doing it, and it would be great if people did it so that we wouldn't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, can we send out something that, hey, when you review something, please submit it so that it's added to the list?
Absolutely. I mean, we still encourage it. We got a bunch of different ones today. We got more, but yes, we'll put it out so that Shamari, on Library Currents, there's an add to the database form. If you just fill that out, we will look at it and then add it to the database. So we're hoping that once this first flush sort of is finished and done, your job as the classroom library manager will be very minimal. Just maybe at a pinpoint throughout the year, making sure everything is active and right on your sheet. And then at the end of the year, we'll have another training to go over how to close out the year and best practices for that. But you really shouldn't have to be updating the sheet all the time. Once you collect all the accurate links, everything gets updated within the links as the teachers go. So once your school sheet is complete, you may not have to look at it for a couple of months. This is not something that's going to be taking up your time all the time, every day. It was just this first flush of the school year to get everything ready for this year. All right. Are there any questions? Morgan, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I might have missed some of this. But for the STEM scopes books, do we have to add that for additional materials?
No, STEM scopes is adopted.
Okay. And I had one other question that's more specific to what I teach, but I make my lessons because I'm the art teacher. Do I need to say something about my lessons, or just, I know I submit them at the end of the year to my, principal, but I don't know if I needed to be writing the lessons that I was teaching.
So like you need to have an additional materials sheet.
Yeah, I have one.
And then maybe just put on there like teacher made a lesson on black and white drawings, or you just have to list out what it is that you're using, but if you're pulling up pictures from the internet, that needs to be added, but not, you don't have to actually upload your actual lesson. It just needs to be listed out.
Okay.
Jessica?
Hi, I'm sorry if this was already answered. How do you know what gets added to the additional materials sheet versus what gets uploaded to the stakeholders website?
Stakeholders website is just for new orders and donations and grade level readings.
So when you say new orders, is that just referring to books, or is that other materials as well?
Any new school orders being purchased. So programs, subscriptions, magazines, music sheets, any new orders has to be uploaded to the stakeholder website. Anything a teacher uses, let me go through here. Anything the teacher uses for instruction needs to be on their additional materials sheet. Okay. So unless it's brand new or it was donated, if they're using it, it goes on their additional materials. But it would go on their additional materials after they get it and use it from the stakeholder website.
Okay. So I have several teachers that I've tried to put through or try to get approved, like teachers pay teachers things. And they technically, if they purchase something from Teachers Pay Teachers, and
That could
it's
be going on.
copyrighted, right? You can't post a live link for that.
You don't have to post. The parents do not have to see the actual material. It just needs to be listed out on their form. So for instance, I'll show again, because I'm not sure if you were on here. On your additional material sheet, if you're using the template, you have 2 drop downs. You have the classroom materials tab and the media type drop down. When they go to the second tab, media type drop downs, you can make your own criteria, your own list. So right here, I've made a teacher pay teacher list.
Okay.
So now when I go to my classroom material type, I click on here, I could actually say it's a teacher pay teacher material about this. So the parents don't actually have to see what it is. They just have to know what it is.
Okay. So if a teacher's using, and then just to go back to the other one really quick. So if a teacher buys, let's say, books for her classroom using Class Wallet money, does that have to get uploaded to the stakeholders website, or does that just get added?
No, because that's not school money.
It's not school money. Okay. So the only thing that goes through is school funded, not out of their own personal pocket. Okay.
No. Personal pockets too, but not Class Wallet. Any new orders, any new purchases need to go for the stakeholders. But Class Wallet is separate because it comes from the state.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Betty?
I'm sorry, I forgot 2 questions that I had that teachers asked. Anchor charts. If they went on Google, created an anchor chart to like individually give to the kids to put in their notebook, does that have to also be on the additional materials?
No.
So anchor charts do not?
No.
Okay, so even though it's handed to them like a worksheet kind of thing, no. Because I remember you said something about pictures for like the art teacher. So I was like, if they're taking a picture
if it's hanging on the wall, no. If they're giving it to them as a worksheet, then I would say yes.
Okay, so if they make a copy of it to hang on the wall in addition to giving the kids a copy, no.
Opposite. If they're just hanging it on the wall, then no.
But if they actually hand them a handout,
correct,
keeping a notebook,
correct,
then they have to. Oh, okay. And then the second question was, I forgot the question again. I got distracted with that. Okay. Sorry.
You're fine.
Okay, just remembered. How were the principals supposed to let the teachers know that they should be uploading this on a regular basis, or is it the class manager's job to tell the teachers like, hey, as you do this, you should be uploading it? Because a lot of teachers seem to not, they think once they did the additional form last year, they don't have to keep adding more. Like that was their one and done kind of thing. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to be regularly adding to it. And it's like as if they don't know that.
Right. So again, you guys are sort of the in-between for us in your school, right? I'm going to give you updates. Your job to relay those updates. Who you relay those updates to and how comfortable you are with your staff, then by all means. But have that conversation with your principal. Hey, I was just at, the classroom library inventory meeting. Do you think the teachers even know that they should be updating this? Don't you think that that's something we can send out? And the principal might say, yeah, go ahead and send something out, or work with them to create something, but overall compliance. When
everybody should be doing it on a regular basis.
Correct. But overall compliance does not land on you.
Okay.
You are not the police of this. It
Okay.
is up to your administration to see follow through from your staff. You are simply a messenger from us and just sort of the helper on making sure that the pathways for the parents to view the material is clear and ready to go.
Okay. And the last comment somebody made was, is there really someone looking to see if they're updating and putting it? Is it actually going to be policed, or can they get in trouble if they don't add anything to it?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to get in trouble. And nobody from us is sort of, I'm looking at your school sheets to make sure everything's correct for the parents, but I'm not inside their classrooms. We're not inside your classrooms. We don't know what is and isn't being put on there. However, the parents will know. And if you don't think the parents are already looking at this, you are wrong. They are already looking at it and going through it with a comb. So it's not that they're going to get in trouble from the district, but you might start having issues with parents who realize that the information is not being provided to them. That's sort of written in law now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Caitlin?
Hi, Stephanie. So I have my teachers all loaded on the sheet, but I was wondering about a couple other positions like BHPs or like the media clerk. Do they need to have their links too?
Does the media clerk is alone with students and give out instructional materials?
No.
Then no.
No, but a BHP would need
But
to.
the BHP, if he does or she does groups with them or provides materials to students, then yes.
Okay, so anything in front of students, basically.
Right.
Okay, and then one other thing you sort of touched on earlier, but I also had a couple of new teachers to our school, and I showed them how to submit their links, and they did it through the portal. But either, I don't know if there was an issue or I didn't get the email. So, and then I don't see them showing up on our school spreadsheet. So should I go ahead and add them?
Right. So remember that the school spreadsheets do not get updated automatically. It's not like somebody's going to submit a link and then you're going to see it on the school sheet. You should be getting an email as the manager, and then you copy and paste the link from that email into your sheet. What school are you at?
At Jupiter Elementary.
All right. Ron, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I'll check on Jupiter Elementary and see what's been submitted. I did get information back. Banyan has a few submissions, and there's 3 books that are in need of review. So the media specialist for Banyan should have received an email with that information. If not, then I need to backtrack and find out what happened with that.
If you could resend, I am the media specialist, and I have 2 emails, and it said 0 for reviewed.
Okay.
I
All
looked
right.
at my garbage too.
We'll look at that. What I may do, Stephanie, is I may once I get the feature to be able for the media specialist to be able to review, I may go back and resend all the emails of any books that need to be reviewed back out to the media specialists.
That'd be great.
Right. I don't want to do it yet because I don't want to cause more confusion. But I also wanted to bring up one other thing that you guys are going to see out at your schools is that in several cases, we've seen where a AP, a principal, somebody else other than the teacher submitted for the teachers last year. And that's presenting a problem right now because when a teacher who had maybe an AP submitted for a teacher, that library is actually tied to the AP, not the teacher, right? So when that teacher goes into Google or into the app and they click manage my library, they get a blank library and they don't understand why. And in every case but one so far, it's because somebody else submitted that library for them. And Stephanie has some steps that you can take to export and import and move things over. The one instance that we did have that was different from that was they actually did it on their personal Gmail account, which is essentially the same issue, right? It's that person, but they did it on their personal Gmail account. and Stephanie helped that teacher move things over. So if you get asked questions about can a media specialist, can a department head or a AP or principal submit for someone else, the answer is no. Please don't do that. You'll drive me crazy. Because the app knows who you are. So therefore, it's sending you to your stuff in Google, and it's checking your stuff in Google as a teacher. So that's all I had.
All right. Anybody else with questions? So while we have time right now, I'm just going to show you quickly. Ron, in the chat, Usma asked if you can check on Lantana Elementary. I'm not sure, Usma, if you want him to check on which part, if you're getting alerts as the media specialist and not as the classroom manager, or vice versa.
I can take a look. Jessica, what's your school number?
It's Usma. Usma, are you on there?
Oh, she's not on anymore.
All right, hold on. Let me see.
Oh, that's okay. I can find it. And Jupiter L, what was the school number for that?
That was.
Oh, she might have dropped off too.
I'm 0531 if you were talking about me.
And that's Jupiter Elementary.
No, Belvedere.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
You said Jessica.
3-1. Yes. Okay, I got that one. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah. Lantana is 0751, which is Usma. 0751.
And can he check Pahokee Elementary too, 1101?
Absolutely, Betty.
I'm a worry. Sorry.
Okay. I will check that out now.
All right. While we have time, what I want to do is just sort of walk you through what we're talking about and what to do when somebody is, let's say that I created a bookshelf last school year. Raquel has now taken over my classroom. She wants all the books that are in the classroom without having to rescan. That can happen as long as you are in communications with the person who scanned the books. So for instance, if a Google account left the school but is still in the district, you can get those books back. If the teacher who scanned the books previous year is still at your school but is now at another grade level, you can get those books back. When that Google account becomes inactive because they have left the district or they are no longer here, that's when you lose the books. Okay. But for instance, here is my library. Here are my books. If I go to my third grade set of books here, right? I don't teach third grade anymore. Raquel has these books and she doesn't want to do it. I'm going to go to my settings cog right here. If what Ron was talking about, if somebody goes to their library and they don't have these options, they are not the owner of the shelf. They do not have the rights. They cannot add or delete books. So if they don't have these options in their settings cog here, somebody else owns the bookshelf. So what I would do is I'm going to click on export as XML. Okay. That becomes a file in my computer. I'm going to save it. I'm going to be back with you guys and so you can see it in 1 second. I'm going to open up Excel. I'm going to present full screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to go into, you want this developer tab on my computer. My Excel is kind of old. You want the developer tab. Some of the newer Excels, you can just go straight into file import, but the ones that are school computers, you have to go to this developer tab, and then there'll be sort of an import for an XML right here. So I'm going to go to import. What is it that I want to import? Well, I want to import my Sunshine Library, which I have to find. Right here. Now I'm going to open it. I'm going to leave this the same. I'm not going to change any of this verbiage. And then now it looks like this. I have ISBN numbers to the right. I just want to make sure that you guys can see it. Right here are my ISBN numbers. I can copy and paste, copy. Now I'm going to email Raquel this whole sheet. All she would have to do is take that sheet, go to her library, create a new shelf. Now that she's going to name it Raquel's Classroom Library. I'll delete this, Raquel. Create bookshelf. Now she's here, and now she has empty books. She just has to go to the settings cog here, add by ISBN. Now paste all of those ISBN numbers that I gave her. And now all of my books are now in her books. So again, we're going to talk about this at the end of the year, but there is a way where you're not going to lose the information as long as people are still here and we can get it. And that's what we're going to talk about at the end of the year, because we'll get all of those XML files at the end of the year to sort of keep for safekeeping. But I know that that has also been a big issue, so I wanted to go over that with you. And again, if you tell your teachers to look in their settings and they don't have these options, it's not their bookshelf. Somebody submitted the link for them, and you have to try to sort of get it back for them. Okay, so before we wrap up for today, is there anything else that you really need to know to continue this workflow that you have going on to finish up the sheets? Betty?
Okay, so you see what you just did with export? Do like that person now has 2 libraries now. Do I need to change the link on the sheet to show that, or will both show now on that same link?
Right. So they would both show. So that what I would do is on my sheet, if I was on your sheet, you would delete that link from me because I'm not there. I mean, I would delete the books out of my link. Now Raquel, she's added those books, but she's also created a new bookshelf. So it's a new link. So her link needs to be added to the sheet. I'm giving her my books. I'm not giving her my link.
Right. Okay. Because the thing that I think is my principal is having the kids follow the teacher. The teacher is following the kids' grades, and they're going to eventually go back to the other grade the following year. So should I just leave the other shelf there? Because they're going to go back. Like what she did was she flip-flopped 4th and 5th, and they flip-flop. But the flip-flopping she didn't pay attention to is the bookshelves are in 2 different rooms. So is it okay for me to just go ahead and leave that because they're going to flip-flop next year?
I would delete it and just have your teachers resubmit their links. The teachers will always have those bookshelves in their Google bookshelf if they don't delete it.
Oh, it will always be there?
Yeah. So they would just they would just give you the bookshelf link for the bookshelf that they're using for that year.
That current year. And that's what needs to be on.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Correct. You want to make it as easy as possible for the parents.
Okay.
Right? So if there's like 5 links for one teacher, they're not going to know, what's going on.
But when I click the link, I'm able to see the old link. I'm able to see both bookshelves from the teachers. So are the parents able to see both?
Yes.
But that's confusing for them?
No. You could have 2 bookshelves. Don't
Okay.
have 2 links on your sheet.
Oh no, there's just one link.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fine if there's one link
Correct.
with 2 bookshelves.
Correct. Just make
Okay.
sure that like the grade level differentiation.
Right, and we put that in the description
Perfect.
part. Okay.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
All right. And again, I know it's the beginning of the school year. I know everything that's on your plate. I thank you. You guys have truly done an amazing job. Last year, you know, it was just Lisa and I with all 114 schools, every single staff member, us trying to get it all in and building it. And so it is a relief to know that we can sort of rely on you guys as well to help with this, because the pace in which we were trying to roll this out, like Ron was saying, it's unachievable without many hands. So we are here to help you. But like I said, hopefully once we get this first flush of updated links, you should not have to worry about it for a few. So if there's no other questions, feel free to log off. I will send this recording out. Ron has something more to say.
Sorry. Well, I just wanted to follow up on Jupiter, Lantana, and Pahokee.
Okay.
0751, that's Jupiter. Is that right? They
Leave
have
0071.
0071. Oops, I wrote down the wrong number, so you're off my list. Sorry. Lantana, you have 31 teachers that have submitted, and you have no reviews. Every book they've submitted was already reviewed. So you should have received an email, and I'll make sure I'll do a double check on the email system to make sure it's all working. Pahokee, you have 22 teachers that have submitted and 6 books that need review. So once we get the edit feature capabilities up for you, you'll be able to go in and review those as a media specialist.
Is there a way for me to know what 26 are cleared? 22 are cleared? How do I know that? Who's cleared and who has the 6 book reviews? Because I've only gotten 2 emails about book reviews, and that was a total of 3 books. And you said 6.
Yeah, so let me look at that. I don't know how to answer that right now. All the data is kind of broken apart as we bring it into the system, and we have to build it back together to get the data to look at it this way. So let me get with them and find out, and I can let you guys know.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Ron, Valerie Valcourt, the AP, is asking if you can also check on Whispering Pines 1781 when you have a chance.
I will take these down and note, and I will. Let me see if I can figure out how I can generate a report of all the schools and all the libraries. Right? Maybe that might be easier, and then I can send that to you, Stephanie.
Yeah, that'd be great, and I can get it out to the managers.
Okay. All right, we'll do that.
Okay. If there is anything else, please stay on the line, but we're going to wrap it up for everybody. Again, I will sort of feel the vibe out, and if this is something that we need to do soon in the future, then we can always plan another Q&A. But other than that, have a great day, and thank you.
Oh, is it still recording?
Oh, I can stop recording.